You're listening to Heroes in the Moment. What's up, heroes? I'm Michael.
And I'm Nathan.
And welcome to our weekly recap number 53.
We got some bangers today.
We got some stuff to talk about, some stuff to break down, stuff you don't know, stuff we may not even know.
I don't for sure know.
We don't even know. So start off, as we've been starting off most of our weekly recaps recently, we got to talk about this strike business.
Yeah.
Obviously, the writer's strike has come to an end and come to a close. However, the actor's strike of the SAG, was
it's
it
like
SAG?
AFTRA?
Is that right?
I think it's AFTRA or
AFTRA. That is still in strike mode, and they're talking about deals. And you said something about
it's streaming revenue. So I think the actors are asking for 2%, which doesn't sound like a ton, but a lot of people stream. So
that's true.
Anyway, Hollywood doesn't like that, so saying no.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know. I've heard stuff about that one. I mean, obviously you want to stand with the actors, but at the same time, I've heard stuff about that one that one's a little bit of an ask because a lot of these actors that are asking for it are the ones that do make a lot. Yeah. So it's
I guess it's different. Yeah, because I guess the majority of your actors in these streaming projects would be bigger. But then again, it makes sense for like the smaller people trying to start out, like that's their livelihood. So
I don't know. I don't know the fine
but
print. I don't know the details. But hopefully they'll come to some type of agreement soon.
Yeah.
That way we could just get things over and overhaul, because obviously we'll just talk about real quick Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
Transition into that. Deadpool 3, they're really, Sean Levy talked about he really wants it to come out next year. Half of the movie's completely done, edited, everything.
Wow.
They just got to work on the other half, but this acting strike is hindering them from finishing this movie. So they're nervous about that. I mean, honestly, yes, as much as I want Deadpool 3, I want it so bad. Okay,
we want a finished product.
I want it in May. I would love to have it in May. I would love to watch that, and it would do really well in May. But I want a finished product, and I want it to be as good as it possibly can be. Yeah. So Sean Levy and those studios working on it and everything involved. If you need to push it back, don't be afraid to push it back. Yeah. This movie will make $1 billion either way.
Yeah, it's going to be a banger.
All right. So just do what you got to do, but play your cards right.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and that's a very common theme. You see a lot of studios just pushing deadline and rushing to get out just a bare minimum product just to make some money. And you see that all the time.
I do think that all of this is because of COVID, honestly, from the repercussions of that. Because before COVID, prior 2019, we saw it was the greatest movie year to date, right?
It had 8 movies
our generation,
hit $1 billion.
Yes, it was an incredible year of movies.
Aquaman, Joker,
and then
Marvel.
2020 had no movies, right?
Yeah.
Little to none movies in theaters. And then they tried to make a comeback in 2021, and it was so harder to do that. And from the respects of COVID, things got pushed back because of not knowing if it's safe to go theaters and everything about it. And then they started leaning towards AI because it's quicker.
Yeah.
And then they started leaning towards
streaming.
Yes,
and
streaming became massive because of COVID.
Yeah.
Because it was just simpler to stay at home, get all these movies
you
at home.
You didn't want to go outside.
Right. Paying for all these different things. Actors, doing this for that for each streaming services. People were going Netflix, Apple, Disney, all these things instead of other big studios.
Yeah.
And all of these is led to a domino effects kind of deal to where movies are just not the same as they were prior to COVID. I mean, honestly, you could literally call today's age, you could be 2021 AC after COVID, because that's literally, well, I mean, it was still in the midst of COVID, but it literally changed so much of the world into what it was, and especially for movies, it's just not been the same. We've seen it with the MCU, we've seen it with Star Wars, seen it with DC. How can we get back to where we were? How can we get to a point to where there's no more pushing movies back? Actors and writers can agree, get what they want. Hollywood studio executives can combine with those. How can we get back? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, obviously you got a lot of different factors there. As far as the writing and the actor strike goes, I think that part is completely separate. And like I said, we hope they figure that out.
Absolutely.
But I mean, these big companies, they're scared of putting out these movies and then bombing. I mean, a lot of people still aren't going back to theaters, as crazy as that is.
Oh yeah.
But you see companies like Warner Brothers losing hundreds of millions of dollars, not just because of controversies, but because they're just movie sucks and people don't want to go to the theaters. So I think important things to remember in this day and age where streaming is so prevalent, I think an emphasis needs to be put in the quality of the movies, that hey, this is an experience and this is something that you will not get in your own household.
I completely agree.
That's why you see Oppenheimer, a 3-hour, rated R biopic, hit $900 million,
right?
Which is crazy,
because that movie, they took their time.
Yeah, they took their time.
They took their time. They took the piece of cues. There was no CGI.
Yeah,
And then you look at other movies also, like in comparison to Oppenheimer, like I think of Avatar: The Way of Water. They took their time.
Yeah.
They took their time to implement everything they did. It was great. Everybody needs to take note of that.
There's a formula.
Even the Batman, they took their time. It was a great movie. They pushed it back several times, but because they needed to fix everything and they did what they needed to do to execution of that. Other movies, I think, big
Indian movies, that applies to them because they have a really small budget, but they're putting out like really good movies.
Right. And then you have these big studio productions that are sending out movies like they're, I don't know what's the best word to use, like they're cupcakes, just sending them out.
Yeah, and they're hoping they stick, and they don't.
And they don't stick, right?
We know like what's good versus what's crap, and we don't want that. You know?
Absolutely, because when you put out like Thor: Love and Thunder, that obviously was rushed, and it was obviously not good. Because they didn't take their time. They were just like, we got to get this movie out. We said it was going to come out. It's got to work in the timeline.
Yeah.
Okay. It can still work in the timeline. Push everything back. Or don't even say you're going to release it yet.
Yeah, just hold off on the dates.
Yes.
I mean,
do not put anything set in stone until it is set in stone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And it's not just a theme in the movie industry, but in the video game industry, like with live service, companies they throw out these like games with the minimum like product, like it has to be just this good or else we won't get sued. And then they spend like the next 2-3 years just fixing the game where it should have been great on launch. No. Same thing with movies. Take your time. We don't care if it takes 2 years. Yeah, give us a good finished product.
I completely agree. And video games, man, video games are the worst because they'll announce the game 7 years in advance before it comes out. Don't do that. Yeah, announce it a year in advance. And people get hyped still. I mean, it's not like you need 7 years for hype to build up.
Yep.
They'll forget about it.
Yeah.
Give it a year. People will get hype, and then they'll buy it and they get it. Like Spider-Man 2, I think of. Like they did really good with teasing that.
They did a good job.
And then obviously it's really good. And then there's so many other, like they announced Star Wars Eclipse, and it's supposed to not come out to 2027. Why would you announce that? Like, what do you mean?
I've already forgotten about it.
I know, right? Seriously. And there's so many other video games that fall to that. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 6, we know they're working on it. It's not
going to be
officially announced.
Huge.
But they're going to wait. They're going to announce it when it's going to be close to ready. And then when they drop it, it's going to be the biggest game ever. So it's like, just take your time. Do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how it goes.
It applies to everything. Take
Absolutely.
Your time.
All right, so get into some news today. We'll start off with the MCU, and then we'll have some DC, not EU, but U news to finish us off. So today, first one, this one gets us excited as long as they take their time.
Yeah.
Being... It apparently is rumored that a Hulk solo film starring Mark Ruffalo is in the works in Marvel Studios.
Go, baby!
Know. How amazing.
Round of applause.
Wolverine better be in it. And
he better be.
He better be World War Hulk. I'm so excited for it.
Yeah.
I think it could, I mean, it's a long time coming, right?
Of course.
It would be the second movie, I guess, to the Incredible Hulk kind of trilogy that we never got. I would love it. Everybody wants it. Everybody loves the Hulk as a character. They've done him dirty time and time again. Give me a Hulk film. Give me World War.
Yeah, and I guess this is only possible because Universal, I guess, no longer owns the cinematic rights to Hulk.
I guess
I think so because this movie would have happened before Endgame.
Oh yeah,
if Marvel had controlled the cinematic rights. Yeah. But this is awesome. The fact that they're bringing back Mark Ruffalo, that they're finally taking. Just the time to make this movie.
Absolutely. Just don't let Mark Ruffalo influence too much.
Yeah.
Because he's
going to throw out some crazy ideas.
I know. And he'll be too comedic. Don't let Mark Ruffalo be Mark Ruffalo. Make him be Bruce Banner and make the Hulk be the Hulk, please.
Yeah. I want to see the boundaries of PG-13 being pushed.
Oh, I do.
I'm not saying R, but they need to be intense with this movie. You're talking about an unstoppable force.
And that's the thing. The Incredible Hulk plot, bad. Action, awesome.
Yeah.
Give us that, but with a good plot. You know what I'm saying?
It shouldn't be too hard.
We'll see what they do. All right, next thing with that is we hear some news for Sony-Marvel, but this connects to the MCU because apparently they're saying that Sony-Marvel in the next couple of years could become canon to the MCU.
Huh.
We thought this earlier when what they did with Venom, right? And how they translated him to the MCU, but then they sent him right back.
Yeah, I didn't understand
I didn't either.
at all.
But could it be? I don't know how they'll do it. What do you think?
To be honest, man, if I'm Marvel, I'm not associating myself with that. I agree. I mean,
keep Spider-Man.
Yeah, keep Spider-Man. But if the projects were better, then maybe. But it's still tough. I mean, they're a different company. But I mean, they've been putting out terrible projects.
Now, if they was to do that with Into the Spider-Verse and just implement it in live action, that I wouldn't be so against.
That would be all right.
But when you're talking Morbius,
and Venom, and then Kraven the Hunter looks like every other action movie.
It's no.
Yeah,
and then also these other movies What was it? Mucho or something like that.
Oh yeah, with Bad Bunny or something.
Bad Bunny dropped out, so I'm just like cancel the movie.
Oh really?
Nobody
and
wants
then
it.
Madam Web.
That actually looks intriguing.
actually looks like they're going back in time to kill Peter Parker's parents.
It looks intriguing, but just I don't know.
I would just say maybe just retcon it, put it in its own universe or something.
Yeah.
Just let Sony do their own.
If I was in Sony-Marvel room, and I think Patty Jenkins is the one who runs that, I would look at her and I would say, keep collaborating with Disney, the MCU for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Keep your animated stuff with Into the Spider-Verse. Do not do any more live action villain Spider-Man
yes.
Like, don't. We don't want it.
No more anti-hero stuff.
We don't want it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
That's what I would tell her.
Just focus primarily on the animation.
I completely agree. But we'll see. All right. Also, with that being said, with over in Disney Plus's corner and its struggles, it has been rumored that they're adapting and they're thinking, okay, instead of looking at a series as a limited series, one season, one-off show, like they've been doing.
Yeah, like as a build-up to something
besides
like a movie.
Loki, right?
Yeah.
Do multi-season, more continuous shows with more episodes. This is the move. Either do this or don't do any shows at all, in my opinion.
I mean, of course. I mean, and we've been watching and reviewing these type of shows for like 3-4 years. And not that long. But it hurts, dude. Like, you're watching these shows with no clear intent for another season because they're only meant to build into a movie. It's like...
And this 6-episode formula is just so bad.
It doesn't work.
And the only things that it's done it right, like WandaVision was 9 episodes, and it was really good. And they did a good job.
Worked,
It worked really well.
And even that, too, it was a build-up into Doctor Strange.
And then I think Moon Knight was good. It just needed more episodes.
Yes.
Same with these. Like, all of these finales, the reason that they struggle, besides the COVID finales, because they struggled because of COVID.
Yeah.
But after that, Secret Invasion, was another finale, I think.
Secret Invasion, Falcon Winter Soldier.
I mean, that was kind of COVID, but
I guess it was.
There's many Miss Marvel,
Hawkeye,
She-Hulk, okay?
Hawkeye finale was the same thing.
Some of these finales, right? If you had 2 or 3 more episodes to really conclude it, they could have better finales, better written. Instead of being rushed, put all things together finales that we don't want to see.
My favorite part is when She-Hulk's finale makes fun of the fact that they rush the finales and then they have a big fight between the bad and good guys.
It literally made fun of their own show.
Later, they do the exact same thing with Secret Invasion. It's like, bro, which was one of my least favorite finales of all time.
I know. Like, I liked Secret Invasion itself, like the first 4 episodes, and then it just falls flat on its face.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a consistent thing in these Disney Plus shows. Like, they have a good start. They get you intrigued.
Yeah, it's the pacing.
It's the pacing, and it's the finales that really just bring home the knife, right, to the coffin.
But like you said, if they're focused on these stories on multiple seasons, like then the pacing is gonna be so much better. It's all right. We got 3 seasons to do this. It's like which is why they're totally rewriting Daredevil. Like,
right, and we'll transition into that as well.
Sorry to take that, but like
completely.
They fire the directors, they fire the writers, they like
completely creative overhaul.
Show. But it's a good thing because as far as I know, they had written it solely as just like a build up into a movie.
Yep.
But now they're like actually making it a show.
They're actually making a show. They're actually making it, which we already knew that this would be the longest Disney Plus show.
Yeah.
I think they said like 16, 18 episodes.
So that's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. But put all your aspects in
season
it. And don't make every episode 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Put 45-minute episodes back on the map.
Just do like this standard TV norm.
Yes, the standard TV norm. Like flipping every
other TV.
Like every show prior COVID, prior streaming used to come out and be 20, 25 episodes a season, and they would be good.
Yeah.
Like do that. Like you know, like where did that go? It just completely disappeared. Come back with that, you know. Even if it's streaming, come back with that, and that would be great. And I agree, you know, the whole creative overhaul with Daredevil is great, because they need to make it more like the show that it originally was. And they also, I personally think they should just scrap it anyway, making a movie. Like I've been saying,
either that or honestly, I think they should bring the exact same people who made the first 3 seasons because they have experience with it. But apparently, like what they were making, it was more centered on the law than the action. They're like, no, we don't want that. But I think this is a great thing for Marvel that shows that, hey, they're willing to take all this, what they've already done, and scrap it, showing that they're moving in a new direction. Right. That's awesome to hear.
Apparently with the original Daredevil Born Again script, Matt Murdock wasn't going to be in Daredevil costume until episode 4.
Dang.
And I'm like, bruh.
That's wild.
What do you mean? It's Daredevil.
Dude, he looks so freaking good in it, too.
Oh, he does. So, I mean, come on. Like, I'm glad that they're doing this. I'm glad that they're making these creative decisions. I'm glad that they're pivoting. And after now, I think the next movie, but after the Marvels, I think the next movie will be the first movie that they've actually decided to take their time a little bit. Like Deadpool, I think it'll be. that they've decided to actually take the time, and then they'll be able to build up from there and just have a better build to Secret Wars.
Yeah, and it's been like a really hard, 3-4 years for superhero.
It has been. I mean,
lovers.
You've had so many hit or misses. I mean, you've had some hits, you've had some misses, and before it used to be all hits. So let's get back.
And now they're taking their time. Let's go. That's really awesome.
So we'll have to wait and see. Ooh. So next thing with that, to lead into Secret Wars, is after all of this build up and everything that they're going to do for Secret Wars, it is apparently supposed to serve as a soft reboot for the MCU, like we've been speculating in the last couple of weeks. As a soft reboot, bringing back maybe some older characters.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one.
I don't know. I like the idea of soft rebooting it completely and just doing like a new thing that coming, but I think they should do it with the X-Men and Fantastic Four. Not with new characters like that play the old, And
now I'll hit you with the take here, but honestly, I don't think they should use Secret Wars to reboot it, if I'm being honest. I think Secret Wars in a movie this big should be at the end after a reboot has already happened with the X-Men and after the Fantastic Four and all that stuff's in place. I mean, the truth of the matter is, after Cap went out, obviously mainly after RDJ, after his character died,
and also,
Endgame.
Speaking of that, sorry to interrupt you, but Tony Stark is officially dead as of yesterday.
Oh yeah, that's right, because
yes, 2023.
October, that's what I saw. That's wild.
That breaks my heart.
You're watching it in 2019. You're like, dude, that's so far away. And
dude,
then here we are now. But
that's crazy.
I mean, but you just gotta think about for Marvel, your favorite characters, their contracts run out. You throw in a lot of new characters. You try a lot of new stuff. You try this Disney Plus stuff, and it doesn't work. No. They're losing a lot of money.
A whole lot.
Okay, so they're trying to revamp interest. So they announced the biggest movie with only 5 or 6 years away, and it's all of our favorite characters are gone now. So now they're trying to throw everybody back in with using nostalgia and fan service, which will work, by the way, to build it up. I think, honestly, after the Marvels, they should just drop it, institute a soft reboot just by starting off Fantastic Four, X-Men, and then take 7 to 8 years building up towards King Dynasty.
And it could be
honestly,
potentially better.
I think that would work. It just feels like they're rushing, because they know that we're not as interested in the newer characters.
It does, absolutely. And the only reason that they announced King Dynasty Secret Wars in the first place is because of leaks. And really, leaks need to stop, because leaks are damaging to a company, in my opinion, because you see these leaks happening and the companies feel forced to announce things. If they never would have announced Secret Wars and never would have announced King Dynasty, I would be totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Yes, it got me hyped. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. I mean, yes, that's awesome. And I loved hearing about it. But at the same time, I want them to have another end game, and I want them to take their time.
Yeah, exactly. And how long did they take to build up the end game?
They took 10 years.
10 years.
So take your time again.
Yeah.
But we'll see. All right, so to make transition over to DCU news, over into the James Gunn realm of things, we got some more news coming with that being...
Danny boy.
First one being crazy to me. Channing Tatum reportedly in the running for potentially playing Hal Jordan.
That's wild.
Honestly,
it works.
It works.
It works.
He fits the part.
I've never thought about it.
I never thought about
like him.
He looks like Hal Jordan.
Personality
He's got the personality.
Yeah.
He's just a little old to me. If they're wanting to go younger.
He's like what, mid-40s probably?
Probably
later
mid-40s.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was 20 years ago or 10 years ago,
age. Ooh,
he would have been perfect for Hal Jordan. But even then, I've never, like you said, never even thought about him. And I would actually like to see him as Hal Jordan. I think
that'd be awesome. It'd be funny.
It would be
funny.
really funny. And that's how it should be.
Yeah, but he'd kill it.
I think he would kill it too. I think that's a good potential that we're getting there. I like that a lot. I like
it too.
And then also with that, obviously we know our main guy, Jason Momoa, is Aquaman. But apparently it is confirmed that he is in talks to be Lobo in Superman Legacy.
Yeah, that works. That works fine.
Because we know the thing about Jason Momoa is he loves being Aquaman, he loves DC, but he also just loves being involved with James Gunn, loves being involved with DC, and he's completely would be okay with just being like, Aquaman, give me Lobo. You know?
I think he'll be a lot better Lobo than Aquaman. I think the roles are made for him.
He is Lobo.
Yeah,
he is Lobo.
Like him.
His personality's like Lobo too.
Yeah,
he could legit be Lobo, and I think it would be cool to see that as well. And with that, also other actors, Gal Gadot and Ezra Miller are now not expected to return.
Yeah,
which I mean, obviously I'll miss Gal Gadot. Ezra Miller I'm more happy about, but Gal Gadot I will miss. She was an incredible Wonder Woman.
She's great, but she's not the greatest actress to say it nicely. I do think that someone like Ana de Armas would be killer in her role.
She would be a killer Wonder Woman.
Yeah, dude. I've seen a lot of stuff going around about her.
I like that. I do like that a lot.
Yeah.
But we'll see with that.
Yeah, I mean, we can survive with those two.
We could survive without them. All right, so Warner Brothers, again, like we talked about again earlier, with the whole idea of the money, it is potentially possible that Universal in the coming years could gain the rights to Warner Brothers.
Yeah, they're definitely getting bought out. There's been rumors for a while that it's either going to be Apple or Universal. I mean, these companies are huge. Yeah. As big as Warner Brothers is, like, Universal is just big.
To me, I'm like, it could be a good thing for like movies and studios. Like it could be better. But at the same time, it's like Warner Brothers, man.
I know. It's like, think of all the stuff they created. I
mean, they're one of the oldest studios. Looney Tunes,
Scooby-Doo,
Tom and Jerry, Scooby-Doo, like you said. All of this
Cartoon
stuff,
Network, all the DC,
all the shows, the movies that they've done over the years.
It's classics.
Lose
like,
that
they're
name.
known as like the cinematic brand.
Oh yeah, like when I think of what two studios come to mind first, it's Disney and Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
and to think about that possibly being gone is sad.
Yeah.
Like maybe they'll still get to keep their name, just be owned by Universal, like Disney's done with Fox, but I don't know. It's just like it's bittersweet.
Yeah, it's tough because you see these companies buying out these other companies. I mean, obviously Universal has that Comcast money, which is wild, but it hurts too because you see Apple trying to make acquisitions too. Some of that started as a tech company, and now
Apple's
they're taking
a sleeper.
Movie studios.
Apple,
they're huge.
Apple came out of nowhere and was the first streaming service to win an Oscar. So
that was wild.
I mean, Apple's a sleeper.
Yeah, they're definitely a sleeper, and they'll definitely buy out somebody. But it hurts. I mean, honestly, I think once the whole merger with Discovery went through, obviously I wasn't a big fan of it, and I think it confused a lot of people. And when they rebranded, HBO Max into Max, they lost 2 million subscribers. And then you look at their track record recently, it has been awful. They've been losing hundreds of millions with Shazam, with Flash. They're going to lose more. Blue Beetle. They're going to lose more with Aquaman 2. And it hurts because they have such 100 years of good cinema. So anyway, if Universal does take over, I hope that there's some clear leadership and that they still maintain control of their aspects.
I completely agree. But we'll see. Hopefully in the coming years, we'll get just right back on top with cinema and everything will be back to not what it was, but something better.
Yeah, we'll hopefully what it should be.
We'll hope.
All right, guys, if you've enjoyed this episode, let us know by giving us a review and a download. Our podcast, Here's in the Moment, is available on all major podcast platforms, so check it out. If you want to keep up with all of our announcements and updates, new episodes, check out our Instagram at Heroes in the Moment.
And we just want to thank y'all for listening. And as always, we love you 3000.